Have you been kicking around the idea for a while of trying your hand at building out your own apps using AI coding, but sort of ran into two situations? Number one is what are the steps it takes to do it? What are the tools, so on and so forth? And then number two, you want to experiment, but you don't want to throw a whole bunch of cash at it to just try things out. Well, today we're going to go through taking care of both of those. We're going to build a full application step by step, and we're going to do it totally for free. We're going to utilize Gemini's newest LLM, which is Gemini 2.5 Pro. We're going to go step by step in building out an app, building out the back end on an IDE. So if you've ever wanted to go from app idea to app reality, we've got you covered today. First things first, you're going to want to head over to Google and sign in. So you want to make sure that you're showing up in the corner up there where I am. And then go to gemini.google.com. And that will take you to this page. Well, for the most part, if yours says hello, Judson, we have an issue. But otherwise, it should be the same page. And then the most important thing while we're here is we want to check the large language model. Up here at the top, it will show you the model, and you'll be able to see on the dropdown all the different models available. And we are picking 2.5 Pro experimental, best for complex tasks. As you see there, it's new as of recording this video. It came out yesterday. And so that's the most important piece. The other language models do not do coding as well as Pro. So make sure you're on that. Then the next thing we want to do is we need to pick out an application we want to build. The first thing when we're thinking about the application and giving instructions to Gemini is we're just doing the front end. We want to have the part that lets you see what it does, not all the back end database and other functionalities. Maybe you want to be able to log into it or something, or other people log in. Right now, we're building the pretty on the front end. And so we want to make sure to spell out in our prompt that it's just the front end. You see here, I've got a prompt where I'm saying, create the front end for a personal finance assistant. I've decided I want to do like a budget tracking type of tool today. Whatever your app is, insert it in there. And I want to be able to see where I'm spending my money, so on and so forth. A couple things when it comes to using Gemini. We're just building something simple, so we're not going into deep detail. If I'm building a production app that I'm selling to people, I go through the whole process of doing research. I create a product requirement document, I phase it, do a bunch of different things, and then the first prompt looks very different. But just for experimenting and playing, all we need is a simple prompt telling it you want to build the front end and what it is you want to build, what the app it is you want to build, and we can roll from there. And now before I hit submit, we also want to check one other thing, and that is we want it to say Canvas being selected at the bottom. The reason we want this is going to put a code editor and a preview up on the side panel for us so we can see our code. We can see most importantly, what the app looks like when it's built out. And so we hit submit here, and you'll see it'll get started as it thinks through, and it's doing some thinking in here. It's deciding what it wants to build, how it wants to build it, what it wants to do with it, what features it wants to have, because we didn't really give it any features. And now you'll see here, the canvas pops up and it starts building for us. And just like that, it built out the front end of a pretty darn good looking app. By the way, I said just like that. I did cut it. I did time it. It was 2 minutes and 18 seconds, which is not a lot of time to build this out. So let's take a look at what we've got here, just so you get a feel for what it built with very small instructions. First of all, you'll see over here, it gave us some different panels for the dashboard, the expenses laid out in a table, the budget, so what we have in here for what we're going to spend in a month, and then also some goals for emergency funds, and then back on the dashboard, bringing it all together, where we're at for April, where we're at as far as the budget is concerned to our goals down here, our monthly spending, all really cool. We can come up here, we can change what month it is that we're looking at, and overall just a pretty awesome looking application. On the side here, you'll see it also built out places for us to add additional expenses, budgets, and goals. I know it built it in a pop-up modal because I saw it in the code when it ran by. And you'll see here, so you can put in a new expense, what category it was that it went into, and then a description for that, and it would add it in. Pretty darn a good looking app just from 2 sentences and 2 minutes and 18 seconds. But it's really not a working app. What it does right now is great, but as soon as I close it down, the data is not stored. It's a bunch of dummy data that's in there. So it's not a fully functioning app, which, you see a lot of videos and they get to this point and you're like, wow, that's awesome. And then you go to try to build it yourself and you get tripped up and like, okay, what's next? So let's talk about what is next. As you can see here, we basically have one decent sized, maybe biggish file of all of our code. And it's cool and it's working and we could probably add to it from here. But as we build it out and want to build a real application with a database and maybe authentication or something to sign in later, whatever other features we want to add to this one file system running through Canvas and Gemini is not going to serve us very well for very long. Now, once we've got that application that we started with and we copy the code over, there's a lot of different ways we can go with this, but I'm going to use Bolt today. As far as online tools, we've got bolt.new, Lovable, Replit. Any of these are great options, and they also can host your application for you. And they all come with some type of a free usage. And I think we can build this app out for free on Bolt today. More iterations later, we might have to wait to future days when our credits reset and still do it for free, or we could pay for Bolt later on. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to put this prompt in, and it's this prompt that talks through a few different things that are important here. So the first thing you'll notice, we've asked it to index our code so it understands what it is, let us know it's a React file. That's important. Make scaffolding. So creating the folder structure, refactor the code so that we're putting the pieces in the right place and not ending up with too much extra code, different places. Keeping it clean, basically. Then we're going to also say, don't just refactor it, the old code, install any new dependencies we need, and also test the application. That's really important to make sure that it works before you serve it up to me to try out. That will save you, that little bit there will save you some time from it just spitting out the code, starting the server, it breaks or it works, but doesn't do the parts it's supposed to do. Let it test it out for you first. The tool is there to do your job for you. And then you're going to, of course, test it after that. So we're just going to come up here, hit run, and I will let you know it takes a little bit of time to run. Bolt's pretty darn fast. No pun intended with the Bolt part, but I bet you it takes about 3-ish minutes, something like that, to build out the app. And here it is. It's all done. It's built the full application. You can see all of the folders here, all of that type of stuff that goes along with that. And then it's also running the application on the server for us. And so you'll see here our full application that we had before. The difference now is it's added in some data persistence so that it saves the information for us in the future. But it gets us that application now running on a server somewhere where we can start to build things out and tweak anything we want on the application and run it here, because we can, with Bolt or any of the services, we can then go and deploy this application to use it, to access it on the internet, however you want to get to it. We can then deploy this application and use it. That's how we build it with Gemini 2.5 Pro for free. And then also we built it with Bolt for free here too. There's a lot of different options, but we use Bolt to get the full application up and running to be able to use it. And you'll see here, it lives right there right now on our server on our own machine, but we can move it later if we need to. Hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, make sure you put comments below. If you'd like to learn more about coding using AI tools or automation using AI tools, make sure you go to launchwithvibe.com, grab our free ebook. It walks you through the process of building apps that actually matter and will work. And then also we have a book over there, Catch the Vibe. If you'd like to grab that on Amazon, it is available too.